Y'all, we have to do it. Like, you and I, we have to fucking get our shit together. You know, God has only given us a finite amount of time on this earth. We have to use it wisely. Like, you can't sit there and be like, oh, tomorrow. Oh, you know, later. Bitch, later could never come. Like, my mother died at 45 years old. I bet she was thinking, oh, tomorrow, later. We have a few more days. Don't bring this shit into 2025. We're not doing it. Look, 2025 has to be our year. Like, it just fucking has to be. Like, I'm tired of this. Like, I'm tired of every single year making my New Year's resolutions, writing down all my hopes, my dreams, my deepest desires, and then like not really breaking through and becoming who I want to be and like who I'm supposed to be. I'm tired of this. Like, something has to give. Like, this has to be the year, right? Like, this has to be the fucking year. Like, I feel like ever since I was a child, I've always known that I was supposed to do more and I was supposed to be more and I was supposed to, you know, work more. But I have not even scratched a percentage or a fraction of my potential. And it's like, what am I going to do about this? Like, what are you going to do about this? Like, because I feel like if you're watching this video, you probably are in a similar place in your life. I already know what my downfall is. It's my work ethic for sure. Like, I'll start something and I'll be consistent with it for a few weeks, a few months, and then I'll just be like, fuck it. Like, you know, because I always forget that like everybody's journey is different. So I'll be like, okay, well, I'm working so hard. And then I'll see somebody who just like, that's like me being an artist, okay? Like, which I'm not, but like I'm an artist. And then all of a sudden, like I'm doing all this training, like I'm going to school, I'm doing all this research, looking up the greats. I'm working hard to find my own style. And then there's somebody else who just like picks up a brush and then all of a sudden they're like, and then they're fucking Picasso. Like, that's how life feels, right? It feels like constantly like trying, and then like never getting anywhere, you know? And then it's like, I feel like sometimes we, more specifically myself, like will make up excuses for like why we're not successful when again, deep down, we already know what it is that's like stopping us from being successful. Like, I've known for years that mine is my work ethic, my discipline. After a while, when I get hip to like something's not making a difference, it's not changing, the growth is not happening at a rate that I'm expecting it to, when I look across my, you know, like when I look across the hall or I look over my shoulder and see like somebody else is trying to do the same thing and they're just getting a lot further, better, faster, I just give up. And it's like, that has to fucking stop. Like, because it's, you get to a point where you're just like, how long is this gonna go on? I'm not in my 20s anymore. I'm not like, oh, I have so much time. Like, we're not 18 where we have like the rest of the world, the rest of our lives to get it together. What are we gonna do now? How are we gonna make our dreams happen now? Like, what would happen if we just had the audacity to just do what we want? Like, be completely delusional, ignore the haters, ignore what anybody else has going on, and just listen to that voice inside our head that we know is like God-given, you know? Like, I honestly crave that so much, like to be used up until I'm like exhausted by God. Like I crave that so much, to be walking so much in my purpose, being so obedient, doing exactly what God wants me to do, to the point that I'm exhausted. I cannot wait till that day comes where I know I'm just doing the right thing and I'm going the places because I was obedient. And I feel like that sounds kind of ridiculous because so many of us, especially me, have been fighting against that like rhetoric and that like way of thinking for such a long time. Like, you know, corporate burnout is such a thing, and I've experienced it multiple times in my life. From when I first started working, college, graduate school, like I've experienced burnout so many times, but I just have a feeling that like if I'm walking in my calling and my purpose, that it's not going to feel like burnout. It's just going to feel like, okay, maybe I might have to take a rest, but it's like I have to get back to doing the work. Like I have to get back to doing my calling because it's like I'm helping people, I'm spreading whatever message I'm supposed to be spreading. I'm encouraging people, I'm inspiring people. I don't know. But like something has to give. And I know that for a Fendi fact. Like it has to give. Like I'm so tired of disappointing myself. I'm so tired of getting almost there and then just stopping. Because how many times do you think that in your life, like you could have been on the cusp of a breakthrough? Like if you had just walked a few feet further, if you had just like stayed a little bit longer, if you had been a little bit more patient, what was for you would have been there. There are so many things in my life that I also feel like I need to let go of. Like from habits to relationships to physical things that are like weighing you down, tying you down. Like we have to stop this shit. Like this fucking has to end now. Like we have a few more weeks until 2025 comes. Like this shit has to end now. We cannot go into 2025 like this. Like this cannot be another fucking year of shoulda, coulda, woulda. Like we cannot. Like we can fucking not. We cannot, bitch. Like I'm sorry I'm yelling at you with such aggression, but it's like I keep saying we interchangeably with I because it's like I know that this is not like a singular thought. Like I know that there's like a lot of us feeling like this, and some of us are at different ages. Like sometimes, like whether you're 20, whether you're 30, whether you're 40, or whether you're 90, like we just cannot afford to like waste one more minute. It's like we have to be moving in the direction that we want to go in. And this applies to every fucking thing. Like when it comes to dating, don't date somebody unless they're exactly what you want or exactly what you would consider. Like if you know that you want to end up with a Christian man and that man says, oh, I don't know if I believe in God, I'm not very religious, don't even do it. Don't even do it. Don't even sit there and try to see if there's a way or you could find out or maybe he could change. No, bitch. If he don't believe, he don't believe. Move on. If you say, oh, I would like to get married and have a family, and this person's like, you know, in his 30s and still trying to be like, well, I don't know if I'm ready for marriage, don't go on the date. If somebody's not able to give you what you want, or they don't have similar value, if it's not something, you know what? Because we're not here to just serve other people. So somebody is not necessarily here to be exactly what you need them to be. But if it's not something or someone you would consider, don't pursue it. How about that? I feel like that's way better, more politically correct. Yeah. If that job is not what you're looking for, and you're not in a position where you're like destitute, where you're like, oh, okay, I just need anything, that's different. Like sometimes we got to do what we got to do to get through. But if you're like just looking, applying, don't apply to a job that you wouldn't be fine with them calling you back and being like, hey, would you like to interview for this position? If you know you want to be something, you got to just do the research and try to move in that direction. That's kind of where we're at, like in anything in life. If you want to lose 100 pounds and your friend's asking you to go out to drink, to eat, tell them you can't do it right now. That's exactly where we got to be in 2025. We're saying no to stuff that's not going to get us to where we want to be, and we're not even entertaining stuff that we wouldn't consider or be grateful to have. Yes. That's what we have to do. That is what we have to do. Because like, dead ass, y'all, like, I can't take this shit anymore. I cannot take this shit anymore. Like, I'm too old to be feeling lost. I'm too old to have stuff just keep happening to me and me not, like, parlaying that to my advantage. Well, actually, no, I think parlay is more where you, like, take your... Well, I guess kind of. Because I'm like, parlay is kind of like, more like in gambling, right? Where you take, like, some of your winnings and, like, increase them. What do you do with losses? What's like a correct term for turning lemons into lemonade? Well, all I'm saying is, it's like, I'm tired of things, just life happening to me, and I'm not finding a way to use that shit to my advantage. It happened for a reason. What lesson was I supposed to learn from it? You know, how can I use this to push myself forward? That's what I need to do, because life is gonna happen. Like, nobody's above disruption in their life. Like, let's be fucking for real. But you have to figure out how to just, like, move with the times, get acclimated, and just, like, move on. And I'm so guilty of that sometimes, where I'll just either ignore things that happen, or sometimes I'll just dwell in them. And it's like, no, I have to be moving forward, and I have to be, like, chasing the dreams and chasing the goals regardless. And nobody's gonna fucking save the day. Like, nobody's going to help you. Sometimes it's like, even your own family, your own friends, like, people who are you think are gonna help and support you, they're not gonna help and support you. And sometimes it's not even anything malicious. It's like, they don't know. If they've never been where you want to go or want to be, how can they help you? They don't have the resources, the tools. They don't know the people that can prop you up and elevate you and get you to the side you need to be on. So it's like, we need to also stop being mad at everybody, because that was something I fell victim to a lot. Like, I would always victimize myself when it came to, like, my content. I'm just like, I know y'all see me trying. Like, why are y'all not sharing my shit? Like, why aren't y'all telling people about my shit? Like, you know how often I would get, like, upset, where I'm like, you know, as a content creator, you can look at the analytics. Like, so you're like, okay, so 2,000 people saw this, 2,000 people looked at this shit, and 10 people liked it. And yeah, I would get upset, because I'm like, okay, I know some of my friends and family are seeing this shit and choosing not to engage with it. Like, which is true. Two things can be true at the same time. But also, it's like, you have to come to a point where you say, well, maybe your content just wasn't that fucking good. Like, if 2,000 people saw this shit and only 10 people were moved to do something, say something, then it just wasn't provoking content. If nobody wanted to share with it, and nobody learned anything, nobody gained anything, even if it was just you made them smile, that's on you, isn't it? Like, you need to go back in the lab. You need to go back to the drawing board. And it's like, that's where I'm at, like, in 2025. Like, I'm not perfect. You know, like, I'm not Jesus. But I need to strive for excellence, and I need to be more disciplined, and I need to work on just balance and becoming who God has called me to be. Because like I said, I've known since I was a child, since I was younger, that I was supposed to do more, be more, have more, like go inspire people. And it's just, I really struggle figuring out what is going to be my medium to do that. Like, what's going to be my mode to do that? And it's like, I don't want to run out of time. You know, God has only given us a finite amount of time on this earth. We have to use it wisely. Like, you can't sit there and be like, oh, tomorrow. Oh, you know, later. Bitch, later could never come. Like, my mother died at 45 years old. I bet she was thinking, oh, tomorrow, later. She didn't even have a will. That's a whole other story. But I'm trying to say, like, that cannot be us. Like, that cannot be how this shit ends. Like, we owe it to ourselves to, like, see how this shit ends. For real, for real. Like, again, I'm sorry that I'm being so aggressive with y'all on the internet right now, but, like, we have to fucking do better. We have to do fucking better. And some of y'all have kids. Think about these little people looking around at what you're doing. They're learning everything from you. You have to lead by example. You have to show them that, like, you have to try. Like, you have to do. Like, you have to push yourself beyond your limits. Because that's where the real change comes, out of discomfort. Y'all, we have to do it. Like, you and I, we have to fucking get our shit together. And I'm sorry that I'm even talking to y'all like this. Y'all know I like to post little fashion content and little, you know, vlogs and stuff and show you things. But sometimes I really have something to say. And we have to, like, we have to see how this shit ends. We have to give it our all. 2025 has to be our fucking year. It has to be. It has to be. Like, it has to be our fucking year. And that needs to be, like, the lily pad for us to jump into, like, the rest of the years. Like, every year has to be our fucking year after that. Every fucking year. I'm tired. And I know you're tired. Well, look, I gotta go. My computer's acting up and I have to go to the Apple store. But with the little breath in my body, I did want to tell you guys that. Move your ass! Move your ass. Get off your ass. Like, we have a few more days. Don't bring this shit into 2025. We're not doing it. We are not doing it. Like, we are gonna be who God wants us to be, who God has called us to be. And I really think that if we close our eyes and we just listen and we shut up and we be still, God will tell us. And if we're obedient and just put ourselves in motion into what He's telling us to do, being observant, being obedient, we'll get to where we're supposed to be. Yeah. Bye, y'all.
Don't talk about what you're going to do. Don't just dream about what you're going to do. Don't criticize somebody else for what they're not doing. You be it. Be about it. Be about that action and go do it. Keep your eye on your intention. Don't let any outside distraction or your own insecurity stop you from your goals. Embrace that struggle. Surviving that struggle will strengthen you. This is a crucial time in our history and in your life. The earth is ripping that Band-Aid off so we can really see our wounds, so we can acknowledge and nurture them. That's when true healing begins. You can be that leader we all need. You can lead the movement that celebrates humanity. My prayer for you is that you invest in yourself and see the value of giving back and building your community the best way you can.